How's it going, New World? Sethphir here, and I am back once again on the PTR, my home. I live here, I breathe here, I eat here, I sleep here. I'm pretty much here all the time at this point. Just hard at work testing out all the changes so that you know what's coming up in the future. And today we are back to talk about it because there are some important differences coming into the future. The developers have recently taken to the forums and posted a change log for the PTR client, so there are now adjustments being made to some of the things that are coming into the game. So we're going to go ahead and break that down into two sections with this video, and a small little section before we get into those two sections. But the main two sections are going to be the Endgame changes coming to the Gypsum system, and also just content in general for there related to the holiday event. And then the second section is going to be about perks. There are some perk adjustments that you need to know because all of this stuff is going to be very important coming into the patch here in mid-December. So let's go ahead and dive into that first mini section, which is just going to be a quick shout out to the developers. They have given us 200 in all trade skills except for fishing. Why no fishing, man? Come on, I want to fish. So all of these trade skills have been increased to 200, so that is going to help greatly with testing and ensuring that we can get you the best version of this content before it comes out. And then the other thing that they did was they enabled the ability to fast travel anywhere on the map, so that also helps with a lot of testing. So huge shout out to the devs. Great job, good changes. That's going to allow PTR players to test more, and that is a good thing, very good thing. So, diving into the first section here, this is going to be about in-game changes and gypsum. So, the first change is that there's going to be a new type of gypsum, which is going to be coming from this forlorn gift pile. They call this a Tree of Light, which is part of the event that is going to be going on for the holidays, but essentially you're supposed to loot this, and there you can see I get a Diamond Gypsum. So this Diamond Gypsum is supposed to have a new Gypsum category where you can get an extra orb. So with the addition of this, you will now be able to get 8 Gypsum casts per day, if you wish. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this present. We'll open it up. It looks like we got a lockbox and a winter token. The winter token is just something that you use for the winter festival as a currency. You can get cosmetics, pet, items with luck on them, all kinds of goodies, so make sure you collect those and check that out. And the next one's going to be this supposed lockbox, which apparently is locked until you do events, but I guess it's not. You just pick it up. So 100 coins and a silver ingot here, so that's not too shabby for walking around to a town and touching one of these Tree of Lights daily. The way it's worded is it's saying that the Tree of Light, the first 3 that you pick up every day contain this sort of gypsum thing for you. I don't know how many on the lockboxes, but if you want a free 100 coins and I guess a random silver ingot, maybe this item varies in terms of what you can get. You can definitely check that out, as it will be a nice little free gift, you know, for the holidays. So now we'll head over to the Gypsum Kiln and look at the changes coming into the Gypsum system, as there are quite a few and it is important. So we can see here the addition of the Diamond Gypsum, which is going to be a new orb. They also changed the icon of the Gypsum Orb from this yellow rock into this, I don't know, snowball. Very magical snowball looking thing. I like it. It looks cool. So that's definitely a cool thing to see. So now that we have this coming in, we will be able to create a new Gypsum Orb. They have adjusted some of the cooldowns. So instead of being a 22-hour cooldown, it should now be an 18-hour cooldown. And we went ahead and put in some work and farmed one out. So let's go ahead and create it and see what we got. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's still a 22-hour cooldown. Oh, that's so sad. Anyways, it's supposed to be an 18-hour cooldown, so hopefully that will be changed. Or maybe that's just displaying the improper text or something like that. Let's go ahead and double check the Gypsum cast. That actually caught me off guard because I was expecting it to be good to go. So we'll go ahead and create... let's actually take a look at our gear, because now we can see the expertise level of all of our stuff next to it. So it says we technically have a 515 expertise for the life staff. So let's go ahead and try to go ahead and do one of these Gypsum casts for a life staff, right? So part of the changes in the new version of the PTR is that there is now a guaranteed minimum and a maximum for the expertise upgrade. So the minimum is 2 item levels, the maximum is 5 item levels, and they were hoping to make you get about 35 upgrades to get you know, from 500 to 600 total, which I think is pretty generous with the amount of upgrades you're going to be getting in this game. So let's go ahead and create this life staff cast, and we'll get it here and see what's inside and see if we do in fact get the proper amount of upgrades. So checking out the cooldown, still listed as 22. I'm guessing it's just a visual error or some type of adjustment, but I'll check in the 18-hour window and see if it comes up for me. So I'll let you guys know in a follow-up for this, but it should be reduced to 18 hours now. So let's go ahead and take a look at our life staff cast. So we're going to go ahead and grab it. And it looks like it did go up by the bare minimum gear score. We now have a 517. So we can see that my expertise window up there, you see it's going to be announced 517. And now displayed in the inventory is 517 over here in the top part of the screen. So this is working as intended. It's working correctly. It's going to be that 2 to 5 window for the upgrade. So you could get the bare minimum. You could get a little extra bonus, whatever it is. So good luck in that. So moving on, now that we have the Diamond Gypsum being covered and the way that the expertise system is working, and hopefully that cooldown thing gets shifted to that 18 hours like they were talking about instead of the 22, that's pretty much going to cover everything except for the Topaz potion, which is going to be the last one. That's the one that's going to give you the Topaz Gypsum, so you can get 10 a day there. So for that, we're going to head outside of town here and check out our camp because the requirements have been lowered and the cooldown has been lowered on this. I won't be able to test the cooldown because I didn't go out and get some of the animal things, but I'm assuming that it will either hopefully work or isn't being displayed correctly and will work when the game comes out. So developers can hopefully get on that. But as you can see here, the Topaz Gypsum attunement potion has been lowered in requirements for the materials. As predicted, I called it, it was going to be 1 per. It is 1 per because you can make one of these potions every day now. So if you make them 7 times, you will get, you'll need 7 animals a week. But there is a 20% proc chance for additional potions. So you could proc that and save yourself some animals. So I'm guessing on, if you create 7 potions, you're going to proc at least a couple, right? Like 2 to 3 or something like that. So you'll have plenty to go into the next week and you won't have to make as many. So no sweat there. This is not going to be too big of a deal. You'll be able to craft these very easily, and these elemental animals are not very hard to gather. You will not need super many of them, so the price is not going to shoot up into the moon or anything like that, so no harm there. Okay, now we'll go ahead and move back on to the final section here, which is going to be talking about perks in the game. Now that we have covered the Gypsum section and the Endgame section, that's going to be everything we're going into here. So now we'll go up to one of these stations and take a look at some of the available perks. So we'll just go ahead and look at like an infused silk hood and see if we can find some of this stuff. So elemental evasion or elemental aversion and physical aversion is in the game. So it looks like those have a 2 to 3.8% cap. They did say they lowered a few other things, and also increased some of the speed items for the tools. So let's go ahead and check out the workshop for that first, because they said they increased the value of the potential logging speed when you create tools. So let's go ahead and find a tool here. Orichalcum skinning knife will do the job. And let's see, here we go. Yep, mining speed efficiency. So this is going to be 5 to 23% now. The forum post states 5 to 25%, so I'm not sure what the discrepancy is in-game versus this, but you should be able to get faster mining, logging, harvesting, all that stuff, and skinning as well. 25% is quite a lot. That will save you a lot of time if you're hitting a lot of nodes and moving on. So this will be a go-to perk to have on your tools. I definitely think it will be very nice. Although it is a bit odd because you kind of want luck, gathering yield, and then you also kind of want XP now a little bit. But I think the XP is a bit of a weird trade-off because you do want to hit these aptitude boxes, right, for hitting 200 in the trade skill, but I don't think it's too much. Like, you're getting like 10% extra XP, so it's not that big of a deal. You would just get a little bit more. So it really kind of depends on where you're coming from. Speaking of gathering boxes, I have one right here, so we'll go ahead and open that because I did notice that I obtained the gypsum when I hit 200, when I hit the aptitude point in the logging. It just went into my inventory. It was not in the box anymore, so I'm guessing they shifted up that system. As stated, they said that it's going to come from the event and not the box, so that people didn't have to worry about hoarding boxes. And yes, that is true. It is coming from the event and not the box. So we'll go ahead and open up one of these. Oh wow, yeah, this is good. This surprises me a lot. This is a tier 1 aptitude box, so I got 6 legendary materials just for leveling that bad boy up. I also got a vial of Azoth, and I got reinforced logging luck charm. So I got a lot of goodies in this box. These boxes are buzzing right now. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna test some more, and I'm gonna see what is coming from these other boxes, because I'm very excited. If it's giving materials like that, it's gonna be giving a lot of good stuff. So I'm super hyped on these boxes now. That is a massive change. That's gonna be so awesome. Okay, so I'm very curious what a tier 3 aptitude box is gonna give for something like logging, so I'll go ahead and do that here coming in the future. I'll get right on work and testing that, so that we can get one of those opened up and see what kind of sweet materials you're going to be getting out of there. And maybe we'll attempt to hit one of these professions high level here. I'm not sure what, but I'll try to open like an actual Arcana or Armory box or something like that. But anyways, moving back on to perks. I know that was a little bit of a tangent, but we'll definitely get back in here. So now we're looking at the healing reduction perks. We said before that these were going to be way too broken, and it really was going to be rough. It looks like they listened to us. They have been listening to a lot of the feedback coming from the forums, the feedback coming from the videos and stuff like that. So thank you once again, developers. That is the right path to choose. Definitely listen to feedback. Make sure you're taking things into account. But let's go ahead and find it here. It should be something called Plagued Strikes, Plagued Crits. Yep, that'll work. Plagued Crits will work. So it looks like it's still stating that critical strikes below will inflict the disease for a short amount of time. It is lowered to 24%. It looks like at the maximum there. So the new amount should be from 10 to 25% and only lasting for 6 seconds on the crits. And for the heavy attacks, it should be 8 seconds and doing 10 to 25%. So lowered the duration, which is very good, because we don't want Mortal Strike or 50% healing debuff to just be up 100% of the time and no way to deal with it. That's definitely not ideal. And they have adjusted some of these values to be within a reasonable range. So this is a good step. Like, I feel more comfortable with these plagued abilities coming into the game now, because it's not going to just totally wipe healing off the map, right? So this is going to be interesting, because you're going to maybe stack this with something like Infected Throw from the Hatchet or the Putrefying Scream from the Void Gauntlet, and it should have really high impact, but within a short window, which is probably what you want to see. Probably needs a little more testing, so we'll see how it goes, but it's definitely looking a lot better. So the other thing that have been adjusted would be the thwarting counter, which would be this move here. It's doing a little bit less damage against targets with grit, which is definitely true. We were talking about that in the video. We were saying, wow, that's going to be crazy, because if you add that with the spear talent, you're going to be doing like 45% more damage to grit users, and they're just never going to want to take 300 strength, right? So they have adjusted that, and it is going to be a little bit better. They also changed the life stealing on the heavy attack move, which I think is called Trenchant Recovery. So I don't know if we can find that here. Here it is. It will deal the same amount of life leech, but it's only going to apply to one hit. So if you hit a crowd of mobs, it's not going to massively life steal you up to full HP just because you hit like 10 targets and you life leech 30% on all of them, which I think is a good fix, because you don't want anybody being immortal just because they're doing a move, right? Like, that's definitely not the path to take. And then they had one final adjustment for the perks, which was the rogue perk, which was currently on a lot of the weapons, was bugged and doing additional damage for all types of crits, not just backstab crits. And they have fixed the rogue perk now, quote unquote, what they say in the patch, so that it should be doing only bonus damage to a back attack instead of everything else, which is very good, because I know a lot of players were cheesing with the rogue, and yeah, it definitely hit really hard, way too hard for sure. So that's going to be it for perks. There are a lot of good changes into this patch. Personally, I like a lot of the things coming here. I like the ability to get an additional Gypsum cast coming from that diamond, and the ability to trigger the Topaz potion every day. So, you got 8 ways that you can get guaranteed orbs or upgrades between 2 to 5 gear score, or expertise now, as we will call it, coming into the game. So that's 8 every day. You can just pick what you want to choose. So you have a lot more control over what items you're getting. You have a lot more control over how much you're getting an upgrade, and you can choose the type of activity you want to do. So if you're not a PvP player, you can just pass on the Ruby Gypsum. You know, you can go and gather to your heart's content like me and get all the Emerald Gypsum and go that route. You can do dungeons, whatever you want to do. You pick one of those and you go. And do keep in mind that the dungeons, every boss is guaranteeing an expertise drop, as well as the arena bosses. So you will be seeing a lot of expertise bumps. So I'd imagine all of these values are going to go up like crazy. Not to mention jewelry is just flat out dropping in dungeons and from elite chests. So you're going to see all your watermarks going up super high, and you're going to start getting 600 gear and looking for those best in slot legendary rolls. I definitely think it's going to be a fun and exciting time with a lot of loot in the future here, especially with these Christmas gifts being bumped up. That free gold coming out from that tree is pretty nice, and the changes to the trade skill aptitude boxes actually giving good materials, like we got barb vine and other stuff. So I'm imagining if you open a mining box, you would get tolvium and cinnabar, maybe even asmodium for the tier 3 box. That would be crazy to see. Maybe that's in smelting, who knows, but I want to see how that whole system is working. So that could flip everything upside down in terms of materials, because if all of a sudden you open a box and you get like 50 orichalcum ingots and like a bunch of other crazy stuff, that could be nutty. So I'm going to get to hard work once again, testing all of this stuff. So I'll probably have another update and give you some more information about those trade skill aptitude boxes, as they are going to be a lot better now. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for your time and watching the video, of course, as always. And we have the subscribe, like, and bell button down below if you want to show your support for the channel. If you want to show even more support, we also have the join button where you can become a member of the channel today, and a Discord in the description link where you can just ask us questions or get ahead of information like this whenever you want. So make sure to check us out there. We may also be running a few events in the future in the Discord, so be sure to keep an eye out for that one. Alright, thanks for your time, everyone, and we will catch you in the next video.